How are you, Nick? Good to see you.
See you too.
You haven't had the chance to coach a team this year, even at some point last year, that was healthy, that had all the players you could ever want to throw into a game. I'm sure you're excited about it, but are you a little bit trepidatious? A lot of your decisions this year were made for you when guys fell in and out of the lineup. You didn't really have to shave minutes here and there. Is it going to be a challenge?
A welcome one, Michael. I think it'll be a while for that, Mike. Too. I think we'll probably coming up in these scrimmages. I think we'll hold certain guys out of certain ones. I think everybody probably will take their turn of staying out. So I wouldn't imagine we'll have the full complement maybe till the first game against the Lakers. But yeah, it'll be a good challenge. I certainly welcome it. I think we need that top 8 to play together a little bit. You know, the top 8 we envisioned at the start of the year has very, very few minutes together, if any at all.
And are you a believer that having 10 or 11 guys who've shown they can bring it in different forms this year and even last year, does that internal competition help? Does it push guys along, or is it more of a problem where you got to let guys know, look, your chance will come and sort of, be a little more gentle?
Yeah, it's both, Michael. I think you certainly want it, because of you never know what could happen. I always say that playoff games maybe fit certain guys that are down the rotation a little bit. Certain series fit certain guys, but there is some guys really thirsty and hungry for more minutes. A lot of that stuff usually takes care of itself come playoff time. It's not as big a problem, but it's still, there's still always minutes considerations and things going on while within each series, even with sometimes with your top guys, right?
Okay, thanks very much, and don't mean to jinx you guys. I hope you're well. Stay healthy.
Next, we'll go to Mike Ganter, Toronto Sun. Mike, are you there?
I am. How about now?
Yep, all set.
Sorry about that. Hey, Nick, how you doing?
Good, Mike. How are you?
Good, thank you. Fred's still such a young guy in terms of his NBA career. And, I mean, you got all kinds of players that you can get input and feedback from. Where is he like right there now with the Kyles and the Marks and the veterans like that in terms of guys you look to for feedback and input when, middle of a game, end of a game, whenever?
Yeah, I memean, he's certainly wise beyond his years. He's got an incredible basketball. I don't even have to qualify. He's got an incredible mind, period, right?
Yeah.
And he's really mature, right? For his age, he certainly moves around and has the swagger of a much more veteran player, as we all know. He's kind of always had that, really. So yeah, his maturity and his smarts certainly. Yeah, I exchange a lot of conversations with Freddie. He's a good personality too, right? He's usually, no matter what the moment in the game, he's able to converse, converse pretty calmly, right? He's got a really cool head out there.
And how would you say he came out of the hiatus physically and ready to bounce right back into this thing?
Fantastically. Looks great. He's playing great.
All right. Appreciate that, Nick. Thanks.
Next, we'll go to Doug.
Nick, how are you today, sir?
Hi, Doug.
Good. You just hit on something with Fred where you said you stopped yourself from saying basketball intelligence, talking about intelligence.
Yep.
You have a bunch of guys on your team, I think, who might fit into that category. Kyle, Mark, Serge. Guys who live lives and are more inquisitive about things outside of basketball. Does that help build your roster and your team and lead to some of your success?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I just think it's silly that I qualify it. That's like totally on me to have to say it. Even say that. It kind of comes out as a, why do you have to throw? He's got a great basketball IQ, and why do you have to put basketball in front of it? but yeah, no, you're right. Interesting personalities, interesting guys. I think what that does, Doug, is it enables you to have many different types of conversations with them, right? And that's, well, it's more interesting, right? And it's there's some longevity there, and there's more, you kind of want to be around each other more, or whatever it is. They're interesting people. They're not only great basketball players, interesting people, and it makes them fun to coach and makes them fun to just, have a conversation with.
And one more, if I may. Holding players out of these scrimmage games makes entire sense. That's what you do in the preseason. So what do you get out of these 3 games?
Oh, we're going to get some more speed and we're more conditioning, Doug. And I think, again, there's a lot to get out of them. I think there's timing, rhythm, et cetera. I think there's development for some of the younger guys. I think, just kind of inching closer to getting to where you're trying to get. It's kind of, I was having a conversation with the coaching staff this morning in the fact that, you're kind of like thinking, well, what are we, 4 days away from playing a game, but it's not, but we're still 3 weeks or so from the playoffs. You know what I mean? So there's still some time here to not think yet. You're thinking, 4 days, 4 days we get to play against somebody else, but it's still much of the part of the growing and process here in this, coming back from this hiatus.
Thanks, Nick. Appreciate the time again.
No problem, Doug.
Next, we'll go to Blake.
Hey, Coach. Just a follow-up to Doug's question there. I know you've said there's some player self-monitoring going on with the days off or the half sessions and surely these scrimmages too. Just wondering how much you work with the sports science or performance staff or whatever you guys call that group to determine those things as well.
Yeah, I mean, very, very closely, right? I think that, like for me, I always just kind of want the answer of where guys are and what they think the workload should look like for each guy individually and process that way. I'm a long ways away from using my gut instincts on that side of things, right? They tell me, hey, it'd be a good day to rest player XYZ, then and I'll say why, and they'll tell me why, and then I'll certainly take their it's not a suggestion. I'll take their information and use it. I think that's simpler for me. It's kind of like in the injury process. They tell me a guy can't go. Well, he can't go. They tell me a guy can go, then I'm going to play him. It's kind of I lean on them heavily for a lot of that stuff. Like,
great, thank you so much.
Yep.
Next, we have Lewis with Raptors Republic.
Hey, Nick, great to talk with you. When we talk about guys coming into training camp after a long break, they always add so much to the game. And so much over the past few weeks, you've been talking about new plays, guys adding elements. Does it feel in any way like a new team, a different team?
No, I wouldn't say that. I think I found some comfort and find it even again today, but like kind of the first couple days, there was some things that really jumped out that reminded you kind of who we were, like the opening practice. I couldn't believe like how well the ball was popping, moving around offensively. It could, again, and there's been some times when the defense just looks, like they're really attacking and just really playing it, down and connected and flying around and, really putting the other team under duress with just their aggressive play, which again is similar. I don't think a lot of the, most of that stuff that I'm referring to is just probably skill work. Maybe, somebody's added a floater to their game or a Euro step or, something, very, very small things, but, could show up. It's, you'll see it happen and there, boom, there's that Euro step when we needed a big basket in a crucial game. And, it's a one play thing, but it's something they've added to their game here during the break.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
We'll go back to Michael Grange. Are you there, Mike?
Hey, Nick, just the last one here. So many guys have had good years this year, really good years, almost career-type years. Do you think that happens if you don't have opportunities to kind of give them, to give them the minutes that they got because of the injuries? It's up to them to take advantage, but it kind of worked out in that sense as well, didn't it? You weren't trying to find minutes for Norm and Fred and OG. At one point or another, Kyle or Fred or somebody would be hurt, and then they would get their moment.
Well, I think first of all, Michael, I think there was such a big kind of slice of opportunity at the offensive end available, right? This year, and that was going to get and it kind of got, certainly a big chunk of that went to Pascal, but it kind of got moved, and a lot of guys, became involved in that, which again, I've said many times, it's like, to me, when I watch us play this year compared to last year, there's so many guys, not one guy or two guys. There's like a handful of guys that when there's a small opportunity there, they take it, and it's no hesitation, and they take it and make a play. And that's, to me, that's kind of what's that's much harder to guard or plan for, I think, when you're playing, and there's so many ways that things can come at you when you're an opposing team. And then, to your other part, there was certainly some guys that had to, Serge probably benefited, right? He had a lot of reps and a lot of action that he may not have had nearly as much if Mark would have been, healthier. That's one for sure. I think everybody else, I think the rest of it probably goes to the rest of the guys, the Matt Thomases, the Chris Bouchers, the Rondays, that may not have had as good a Terrence Davis. Those guys got a lot more opportunities, I think, than maybe they could have with if we'd have been a little healthier.
Appreciate it, Nick. Thank you.
Yep.
Thanks, Michael. Any other questions? I think that is it for this evening. Thanks, Coach. Thanks for joining us.
See you guys in a couple days.